welcome to another episode of Horror Movie Night. Adam just never knows when to quit. Scott's getting the miak, and I'm building a dope-ass treehouse, because we're talking about Ernest Scared Stupid on Horror Movie Night. All right, guys, so we decided that we were going to go with Ernest Scared Stupid. It was a unanimous decision after last year forced Spaced Invaders upon you guys for Halloween. I decided that I would let it be a group decision on this one.
No, it's in part a group decision.
And we decided on Ernest Scared Stupid, which, as Adam has pointed out, is probably the most covered movie in horror podcast history. So this is going to be a very, very interesting episode. Here we go.
Try and make it worth your while.
We're going to make it worth your while. So let's start.
That's the exact opposite of what I expect this podcast to be.
First and foremost, I probably watch this movie every Halloween, and I think it's one of the few kids' Halloween movies that I actually like the more that I watch it, versus the other ones where every time I watch it, I'm like, man, I was a dumb kid for liking this.
That's what I gotta say. That's pretty funny though, because I specifically made a note that said, I don't know if I can ever watch this again. I loved this movie. Megan is completely perplexed and somewhat antagonistic towards me whenever I'm like, man, Ernest Scared Stupid is a great movie, because she watched it with me one time. I think it was the first Halloween we had together, and she was like, this is awful. and the more I watch it, the more I'm like, man, this is pretty bad.
The three of us need to understand the outside perspective of this, right? Because we all watched it when we were young, and that's where it endears it to us. But if you were to today just watch this movie, you would be like, why? Why are you watching this? Why you endure? This is like an endurance run of a fucking movie because Ernest does these impressions the whole time, and it becomes this infuriating fucking thing where you just stop it. Fucking please stop.
Yeah, he's not nearly as funny as he thought he was.
He was a TV salesman. He sold products on television, and they gave him a film franchise. This would be like if the Geico Gecko had his own movie. That's.
No, I would watch that shit.
This would be like if Vince, You're Gonna Love My Nuts, that guy, the guy that was in all those infomercials for the slap chop and and all that.
Yeah, no. All right. So here's where I'm starting off with this note is right out the gate. Whether I love or hate an Ernest movie, I almost always love the opening to an Ernest movie because it's usually
the opening is so sick. I love that.
I said,
the music for it is iconic too.
And we don't throw that word around on Horror Movie Night.
I have a note that
is. On RuPaul's Drag Race, yes, we throw that, but not here on Horror Movie Night.
I have a note that says that we should probably watch half of the movies that are shown in this opening as future episodes.
I want the one where the brain is got the angry eyes and coming after the lady in the air. I don't know what movie that is.
Fiend Without a Face is what it's called.
The brain without a face?
The Fiend Without a Face.
Wow, good job, man. Do you know every single movie that's in the intro?
I know a pretty good chunk because I used to watch those schlocky 50s sci-fi movies all the time.
Wait. Before we get into the actual film. So I watched Invaders from Mars, Tobe Hooper's Invaders from Mars. And, it's basically just the remake of the 1958 version. And they don't, update the campiness of the kid. And have you ever seen Invaders from Mars?
I've never seen the original, but I own the Tobe Hooper one.
Okay, so you've watched it, right?
Yeah.
It was crazy. I've never watched it until this week, and it made me realize that those 50s sci-fi movies were we criticize movies for their leaps in logic, but holy shit. The 50s ones, sci-fi ones are insane. Absolutely insane.
Well, back then there didn't really need to be a whole lot of logic, especially in a sci-fi movie. They didn't really give a shit about any of that. Okay, it was just we're going to put spaceships in here and people come in just to see that. the audiences in the 50s and 60s and 40s are largely really stupid.
Matt, better cut that.
Let's get into the movie, though. The first note that I have about the movie and not the credits just says, Murdoch is a real dick. Which,
he is.
Like, right out the gate, he's just like, that shit's made up! That's not history! It's like, Murdoch, you might be right, but you're being an asshole. Wait, I'm trying to understand this quote that I wrote. I have so many quotes that I wrote from this movie, and I can't remember the context of any of them. But the note that I have says, "You'll never get away with this, Ernest. I know where you live," which is a quote that he gives the dummy that he shoves into the gears.
Yeah.
And then it says, 7 minutes in, and Ernest should already be dead.
Yeah, I was like, is he superhuman? Does he have powers? Because he gets smushed in the
dump
he gets
truck.
smushed in that trash compactor. Oh, also,
guys, this is very important. When he is in that trash compactor and they open the door and he comes falling out, if you look carefully, you can see a PA or something like that behind him in the trash truck, and he pushes the cube out of the door. And you can see the guy's hands like doing it. Like,
is that trash compactor scene a reference to the original Star Wars?
Yes, because he does try to block it with a pole.
Yeah, and I was watching this and I'm like, man, I never realized that, and I love Star Wars. That's embarrassing.
No, it's not.
He definitely he picks up that shovel and he puts it between the things, and it just immediately breaks. Which, yeah, obviously would happen.
So it's more realistic than Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, you take that shit back right now.
Should this kid know John Wayne? I have a question about that.
He's like, just some routine hero work or whatever, that John Wayne.
Yeah, little lady. Like kid, you're 7. Like, you have no business knowing who John Wayne is. Like,
in this scenario, I expected the little girl to just make like a ooh face and walk away from him. Like, why would you stick around?
The next quote I have just says, "Pretty scary scream, huh?" When it just randomly cuts to the little girl screaming for no reason as they're planning their scary house. I also have that the mayor's back window breaks before it's even hit by the one thing, which my notes seem like a schizophrenic just writing random thoughts, which makes sense because it's an Ernest movie.
Yes, this movie is like the embodiment of schizophrenia, where it's just like there's 7 different voices in your head going crazy.
Yeah, there's multiple scenes where he plays like 14 characters explaining one thing.
I can quote that Ottoman scene to Megan. She fucking hates it.
You know, I feel like there's a lot of stories that you tell in this show of stuff that you do that Megan hates, and very few that are like, Megan loves it.
Well, one, because that's not funny to tell stories that she likes. It's funnier for her to be the henpecked wife. Second of all, like, who's gonna like it if you're like, where are the Ottomans? Rah! Like, everybody's gonna be like, shut the hell up.
Oh, God. So I'm not sure, and I'll cover this a little bit more in the What Did I Watch This Week, but I was a real stud and checked out the movie Storks this week, like an adult. And there's definitely a scene that is very reminiscent of Ernest, in which the one character is locked up in a room by herself for hours on end and then just creates an entire office of people that's all just her playing every single person that works in the office. And it made me think of Ernest. And that's the extent of my tie-in. So I have yet another Ernest quote. The first step into Treehouses, which I refer to as step 1. I don't know. I just like that quote. It's a stupid quote. There's a lot of stupid quotes. This movie really touches my sensibilities as liking dumb shit.
Wait. I have a question. So there's sort of like a montage scene where the little boy is like, you know, yucking it up with Ernest, and Ernest is explaining something to him. But he keeps switching between characters, right?
Yeah.
Like he's the old lady. Yeah. So is the little boy just sitting there in between
as costume changes?
Yeah, as Ernest goes to the back and puts on old lady makeup.
I want to see that movie because that speech is probably way more confusing. He's like, "That's about the Ottomans," and it's like,
and then starts to get off and get undressed because he's got to do a costume change now.
just
Like,
saying one line at a time, and then the
that's poor little boy.
comes right.
I feel like that kid, his relationship with Ernest is real confusing and somewhat uncomfortable for me.
It's a real Doc Brown, Marty McFly thing going on there.
Worse.
No.
It's worse.
This whole thing is fine. This whole thing is fine because in this movie, Ernest is asexual. Like, he does not have any attraction to anybody. You know, the only thing he cares about is his friends and rim shot. That's it.
It could be a lot worse. Could be other rims that he's interested in.
Yeah, exactly. So
we need to
let's
talk
thank our lucky stars.
We need to talk for a second about the goddamn treehouse. Like,
the battle station?
Yeah, they assembled that sweet early 90s treehouse in maybe 90 minutes. Like, there's no...
The $75,000 treehouse.
You know what should have been the soundtrack during this scene? That song Battle Stations by Winger that's in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey when they're building the good robot us's. It's like, Battle Stations! I'll cut that.
No, keep it in.
Now the movie picks up to what I remember, which was that this movie was scary as shit as a child. Because this is when the geeky kid who's done nothing wrong is turned into a wooden figure.
Yeah, that scared the shit out of me too.
Yeah.
Like, so it's very, like, I had a legitimate fear of being turned into a denim sheathed wooden statue because of this film. That poor kid. Like, I mean, his scream is awful. His voice breaks like consecutively as he's screaming. It's like the ultimate preteen boy scream. And that just really disturbed me as a child. I was like, I don't ever want to be that kid.
Well, and then the troll has two noses,
and he has boogers come out of each one.
But also, the noses kind of remind me of like Dan Aykroyd's nose in Nothing But Trouble, where they look so disgustingly phallic that it also just looks like he has two dicks on his face. Like, it is...
Well, yes, now, in retrospect, yeah, the fucking thing looks stupid. But when I was young, that thing, like, this was the entire crux of the movie, is why it was somewhat scary, is the creature design on this thing.
Yeah.
Is really, really good.
Yeah, the men who brought us the killer clowns from outer space and the critters. Like, they went above and beyond the Call of Duty.
Chiodos Brothers worked on Critters too?
They were the Chiodos Brothers only made one movie, like directing wise, and that was Killer Clowns. But yeah, they were the guys who designed the critters. I think they also designed the Ghoulies. They've done a shit. They've done a ton of shit.
No, you were right the first time. They've done a shit.
Well, I think I sent you guys the article where it's...
Did you post it on...
I can't remember if I posted on the group, but I definitely sent you guys the article where, like, the trolls later on in this movie are just the clown process. Like, they just use the same molds for the clowns and Killer Clowns for a lot of the trolls. And
and
it's obvious.
Yeah.
It's very obvious.
Well, I watched Ernest as a kid, and I didn't watch Killer Clowns until I think 8th grade or something like that. And I remember watching that movie being like, those clowns look really familiar, and I never put the two together. But and I remember, Matt, you sent us that in the chat, in our group chat, because I was like, God damn it, I can't post this thing to the group. There's something wrong with it right now. And you were like, yeah, I just tried to post this article. I'm pretty sure that you never got to post it.
Gotcha. Well, maybe when I'm editing this, I'll be like, oh shit, let me post that real fast.
Real thick.
Real thick. So, real quick rundown. These are some of the things that Chiodos Brothers were behind. They created the puppets and special effects for Critters, Ernest Scared Stupid, and Team America World Police. They also did the claymation sequence of Large Marge for Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, that was terrifying too.
Yeah, they're pretty good at doing terrifying shit. That's just on like the one dude's
Yeah,
Wikipedia page.
when they're not creating their own movie, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, Killer Tomatoes. What? Do you not like Killer Clowns? Oh, wait, you don't like Killer Clowns.
Killer Tomatoes. What's that? What about Killer Tomatoes?
Well, the Killer Tomatoes are great
I
too.
like that one. Yeah.
Shit, I always forgot that you don't like that movie.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space was. Never mind. You know what? That's not what this episode is about. I have some shit to say about this movie.
Okay.
I have it's gone now.
That sigh of anger, the disappointment.
I entirely lost it. It's just gone.
I have another quote from the movie that says, "Human sacrifices will definitely be a last resort option." And then 50 minutes in, Ernest Should Be Dead Part 2, trapped in a bear trap.
Yeah, reversed. Like his spine is inverted, like a one of those old people mattresses.
Yes.
So I want to know.
I had to take a second to figure out what you're talking about, but yes.
Yeah, one of those old people mattresses.
Fuck you guys.
Go ahead, Scott.
Wait. So we need to discuss what they used to make the boogers, because I feel like this movie is so gooey. What do you think that they, like in the 80s and early 90s when movies were so gooey, like Ticks, this movie, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Society, all those gooey movies, do you think that they were buying a shitload of like those gigantic vats of KY?
Yeah, they had.
So were they putting like? Were these kids getting slimed by KY jelly?
You're a weird guy, Scott. I only have 3 more notes, and I'm gonna rock through them real fast. The one just says he never knew when to quit, which is definitely the best joke in this movie. Even though it doesn't fit in with the rest of the
teacher. Where the teacher like hits his head off the fucking.
Well, because the lead-in is like, I never knew when to quit. Just ask my 4th grade teacher, and then it just randomly cuts to her just going, he never knew when to quit, and it just keeps popping up.
Also, isn't that originally in Ernest Goes to Camp? I feel like that line is just like.
It might be. It might be in all the Ernest movies. I mean, we all know that the best one is Ernest Goes to Jail, but so. The other note I have just says miak, which is the second best joke in this movie.
Yes.
Well, hey, you know what happens if you search up miak on Google?
You get a bunch of Ernest Scared Stupid stuff.
What happens? Yeah, it goes. Oh, it's a drink that is traditionally consumed by Swedish people, and it also is probably fictional.
And then the only other note I have is I'm loving the over-the-top drama when the kid is not sticking up for Ernest. Like, there's that scene where, like, the cop's just like, Ernest, damn it, I've had enough. And he yells at his kid, and he's like, kid, get in the car. And there's just, like, this silent, like, no words spoken where Ernest is looking at him like a sad puppy, like, but we have to catch the troll. And the kid, like, shakes his head and just lowers it. So disappointed in Ernest as he walks into the cop car.
So I remembered what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the end scene where the multiple trolls come out of the tree. Like he brings back to life all his troll friends. Now, this town has been having so much trouble with just this one troll.
Yeah.
So he suddenly brings back like 6 other trolls, and all of
the evil Brussels sprouts. Yeah, the evil Brussels sprouts hit the ground, and then the trolls come up.
Yep. And then they just slaughter the trolls. Like, they kick their asses. They've been having so much trouble with just the one. Like, all of a sudden, their powers are just so diminished. They're huge pussies. Just
here is. I hate to be defending Ernest Scared Stupid here, but I think that the logical leap there isn't so great because the town is getting just decimated. Well, all the kids in the town are getting decimated by the one head troll. because they don't know that they can be obliterated by milk. And then they figure it out, and then all the other trolls come out, and then they are just like, well, it's just a slaughterhouse because they know how to get rid of all the other trolls.
Well, Scott, I'm going to stop you for a second. I'm going to say, I have become too powerful to be defeated by milk.
Apparently, Christopher Lloyd was the voice of the head troll.
Yeah, he had to be defeated by interpretive dance.
And a kiss.
Yeah, it was...
That's true love kiss.
Is this a kissing book?
I also, side note, we were talking about Killer Clowns. They also reuse the exact same effect when they kill the trolls with milk. I'm sure.
It's painted on though. It's whatever color it is in Killer Clowns. It's yellow in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the Chiodos brothers were like, I really want to do a Killer Clowns sequel, but we got money for Ernest. All right.
Well, and that's like, it's kind of like when we realized that Pumpkinhead may have been assembled by just a bunch of the other costumes that he had made previously and just kind of slapped it together.
Yeah, which makes it way better, by the way. Hey, Adam. Pumpkinhead's pretty good movie.
All right, do you guys have any...
Getting a remake, I bet you're excited about that.
Yeah.
Well, we missed one very important part of this movie. There's a head explosion.
Oh, yes, there is.
So, I mean, it could go on our list of movies that we've talked about with head explosions. Put a pin in that for next year.
All right, we'll do. We'll have to make sure that continues.
I don't trust you that you actually will remember.
I edit the episodes and I re-listen to them when I make the best ofs, so then I catch little things that we requested.
Well, maybe he was talking to me because I sure as fuck won't remember.
So let's do something a little bit different. Let's do a real quick, what did we watch this week? But also throw in what is the Halloween movie that you're going to make sure that you watch this Halloween?
Oh, shit.
I'll start off because I don't have anything that's worth ending on. But like I said, I went and saw the movie Storks in theaters. My friend was like, hey, do you want to go see this kid's movie? And I said, sure, why not? And Storks is fucking awesome. Like it is so good. It's from the writer-director of the Muppet movie and Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and it's produced by the guys who did the Lego movie. So it is just the most absurd comedy, kids comedy I've seen in a really fucking long time. So if you are not ashamed about going to be the only person in their 30s at a movie without a child in tow, go check out Storks. It's fucking great. The horror movie that I'm going to probably watch this Halloween, my buddy Mark introduced it to me a long time ago, and I always forget about it, but it's sitting on my shelf right now. I'm looking at it, and I'm going, that's the one, is called Murder Party. And the plot of Murder Party is this dude who's kind of like a really lonely, boring guy, is walking around, he's got no plans for Halloween, and he sees a notice for a thing called a murder party, and it says, like, just come in a costume and enjoy. So he goes home and builds this, like, really dope cardboard suit of armor and goes to this party, and it's just a bunch of douchey avant-garde art students who are trying to murder someone on film, but it's more so just a comedy about how they just are all talk and can't do anything, because that's what art students are, is a bunch of douchebags. It's literally
we just ruined our listener base, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, Murder Party is hilarious.
Wait, did you think that we had a bunch of art students listening to us? I highly fucking doubt that.
I've read our emails. I love our fans, but none of them are art students.
Oh, you better cut that shit.
Highly recommend it. Definitely worth checking out because it is a really weird. The description on the back of the DVD is it's Napoleon Dynamite in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So like, it's weird. It's a weird little movie, but I recommend it.
That quote does the opposite of selling me up.
All right.
It would have to say that it's TCM2 to get Adam to want to watch it.
Yeah, it's Napoleon Dynamite in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Oh, all of a sudden I'm interested.
All right, which one of you guys wants to go next?
Okay, so I haven't watched anything this week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bitch about things that I wish that I had watched. First and foremost, Westworld. Did anybody watch Westworld?
No, but I hear it's great.
Oh, really? It looks terrible to me.
You know what? I've heard two conflicting opinions about it. One says that it's really good and it's really interesting, it's fascinating, and it's an enjoyable watch, like on par with Game of Thrones kind of thing.
Whoa!
Right? And
what?
that's one of the opinions that I've heard. And the other opinion says that it's a boring piece of shit about people who are not very intelligent to just allow robots to have autonomous control over their own lives. And you would expect, like, hey, you know what's going to happen in that scenario? The robots are probably going to rise up and kill you.
I'm just curious how much it's tied into the movie Westworld. Because Westworld, the movie, was just like an amusement park that goes haywire. So in Westworld, is it the entire world is like we've just built robots and let them do their thing?
No. It's
He sounds so upset. No.
Well, you know what? I haven't watched the fucking show yet, so we'll figure this out at a later date. But I've heard very conflicting things. I'm going to watch it because I want to know what's going on there. I might like it, regardless of the other people that did.
All right, and what Halloween movie are you gonna watch this year?
Ernest Scared Stupid.
Just so you can watch that PA in the background.
Yeah, push that garbage tube out the door. Yeah.
All right, Scott.
All right, so I'm gonna watch May for Halloween because it's probably my favorite modern Halloween movie. I know everybody's gonna be like, "But what about Trick or Treat?" No, May is a far superior film to Trick or Treat. I mean, we're talking about Trick or Treat with Sam the Little Goblin Child, not Trick or Treat which is quite possibly the best Satanic Panic horror movie of all time.
Yeah, you are. We're talking about the movie that has all the multiple stories in it, like the anthology movie, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. We're not talking about that as a great film.
We're talking about the Sammy Kerr movie.
Sammy Kerr, man. Oh man, I love that film. Actually, I might have to do 3 movies on Halloween. Maybe I'll just do maybe I won't go to work that day.
Call out sick.
Fucking taking a holiday. Like, oh, sorry, this is my favorite day of the year, so I'm not going to go work. I watch May.
I have good news for you. Halloween on this year is a Sunday.
No, it's a Monday.
No, it's Monday.
Or I am wrong.
Oh Christ! But so maybe I'll watch Black Roses, Trick or Treat '86, and May. I don't know. I don't know if I'll have time.
living on the edge.
Dude, seriously, that's like my best day ever right there. I love that film. I love all 3 of those films, but May is such a good movie. So incredibly awkward. A lot of times when I'm saying goodbye to people, and Megan's next to me. See, this is a cute story. So when we're walking away from people after we said bye, I'll be like, "Bye, hands." She'll only hear it; they won't hear it because she gets it and they won't. That's a May quote. You can probably cut that.
No, what have we been doing? We're just like constantly on this episode, like, hey, cut that.
It's because we've had some bad luck recently. And this week I rewatched Idle Hands.
Oh,
which is another great Halloween movie. And I realized something, guys. I think that we need to rag on Drive-Thru again. Because on top of being utter garbage, that movie did not have the original 420 boys in it. You know who the original 420 boys are?
Are we the original 420?
We're second generation 420 boys. But Anton, what the hell are their names? Matt,
Penup.
Help me out, buddy. Peanut and
Mickey? Is Mickey Seth Green's character?
I don't know, man.
I just always called him Seth Green the whole time I watched the movie. Mick. It's Mick, Penub, and Anton.
Yeah. Oh man, that movie is so good. That is definitely in my top 5 favorite Halloween flicks because it's got the Offspring wearing an AFI shirt. I think that they also covered an AFI song on that soundtrack.
Well, they cover the Ramones. They do.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that if you look at that soundtrack, like the OST for that movie even, they covered Total Immortal by AFI, which is so funny.
I'm looking at the credit. I had to go on IMDb to figure out what the hell Seth Green's character's name was. And 6th build in the movie is Chris Hart, who was the Hand. Also known, Chris Hart. Oh, this is amazing. Chris Hart is an actor known for Addams Family, Values, and Idle Hands.
The guy has. You are so jealous, and I am so jealous of that guy. He has the best career ever.
Oh my God! I'm gonna
and then Addams Family movies.
I'm gonna read his entire. He's in 8 movies. I'm gonna read all of his credits real quick. He was in an episode of Columbo as a magician at a cemetery. Addams Family, Thing. Addams Family Values, Thing. Quicksilver Highway, Left. He was in the short film One Hand Left. Addams Family Reunion, Thing. Idle Hands, The Hand. An episode of Angel as The Hands. So apparently this dude has no acting ability whatsoever, but he has some dope-ass hands.
It's David Duchovny's character from Zoolander in real life.
Well, I'm sure he got the money that he needed. The short career as a hand model.
No, it's a long ass career as a hand model,
yeah,
dude.
That's a 10-year career in 8 movies.
That was 8 movies in that 10 years. That's nothing. That's fucking nothing.
All right, everybody, that was Ernest Scared Stupid from 1991. That was our little Halloween special, but I'm just saying, if you check in on Monday, you might have another bonus episode, maybe as a hint to some of the things that will come if you keep donating to the Patreon. I'm just saying, and what I'm saying is if you go to patreon.com/HMN podcast, if you haven't already, you can send us a donation. We got a ton of great things depending on the donations. We've gone over it a ton, so I'm not going to go over it here. Hit us up on iTunes, hit us up on SoundCloud, rate, review, and subscribe, and let us know how you're feeling. Send us some emails at HMN Podcast and tell us some movies that you would like us to watch. October is over. We're reopening the doors of letting people send us suggestions. We've got it pretty backed up right now, up to I think we're in March
February.
Now schedule.
Oh, March?
Yeah, we may be in March already. So, keep it going. It might be a couple months until we get to your suggestion, but we're always reading the emails and discussing amongst each other which ones we're going to cover. We try to make everybody happy. Send us those emails. Give us good emails, because the better the email, the more likely we'll pick the movie, just because we want to read the email on the air. So thanks, guys. Have a great one. Have a happy Halloween, and we'll talk to you soon.
We'll cut that.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.